everyone, good to be at DKGcon. I'm Wes Levitt. I'm Co-Chief Investment Officer at Alpha Transformed Holdings. And what I'm going to talk about today is a product that we're building that leverages the DKG called AI. That's going to revolutionize how financial services companies can develop their business lines. So I'll give a very brief background on our team since we don't have a whole lot of time. Most of us come from traditional finance backgrounds. My partners spent numerous times in executive roles at NASDAQ, UBS, this is a Chicago Board of Trade. Before crypto in 2017, I spent about 10 years as an analyst in real estate private equity and also at a mortgage REIT. Basically a lot of years where I wish I had the product that we're building today, so this one is very personal for me. We're also the parent company of a company called Blockchain Wire, which is the leading crypto wire service. So about 1,800 clients, including Bitfinex, Gemini, and Crypto.com, and we've put out about 5,000 press releases. So a great wealth of knowledge that we're now looking to put onto the DKG. But a good question to start with is why we are doing this. So it's no secret that AI is basically infiltrating every sector you can think of. Finance is no different. Probably about 60% of finance companies already are integrating AI into their main business lines. So not testing, not POCs, it's already happening. We expect that'll be about 100% in a year or two. It's just there's some dinosaurs in the financial industry that are slow to change. So, but this is happening quickly as they see the advantages their competitors get. They think there are three main hurdles as to why they're not adopting AI faster, and that's access to the data sets they need, the quality of the data sets and their analysis of it, and access to personnel, so basically the talent in order to use these tools. We can't help them with the third one, but we are building something that can very much help with the first two, access and quality analysis of this data. So I kind of alluded to what the main problem is, though, and it's the provenance and quality of this data, and how that plays out is something you guys are probably pretty familiar with, AI hallucinations. And so in layman's terms, that's when you put a query into an AI chatbot and you get something that's either garden variety false or just made up entirely out of whole cloth. It can be a simple mistake like happened with Bard from Google that embarrasses a company, or it can be something more damaging. I have a friend's company who ChatGPT reported that the CEO had resigned 2 years ago under harassment charges, which was news to the CEO, who was still in place and has never done anything like that. But there's no provenance of the answers that it's giving, and there's no underlying sources. So he's in a terrible position where he doesn't know if there's slanderous materials out there on the web. He's frantically searching to see if that's true or if it's just ChatGPT having an off day here. So in our mind, for financial services companies where they can't afford these type of errors, perfection is the standard you're expecting. The information you're drawing from needs to have provenance, and that comes from having these as knowledge assets on the DKG. Most of you guys are probably pretty familiar with this, but just very quickly what that means for us is if AI is using some data that they to source information for your query, it is an asset that lives on the DKG somewhere, which then exists underlying as a unique NFT on an L1. So one, you can check your sources, and two, it's an immutable source for this. So if company information changed at some point, if you're citing a news article from Bloomberg that later someone edited, you may not know what the change is, but at least you can know that there's some reason why this is not the same article I cited. Now I can do further research to find out what it is and what changed. Yeah, again, you guys know the Oregon Trail tech stack pretty well, so I won't belabor the point, but yeah, it's built as a Web3 application. It leverages the DKG as the way to establish provenance for this information. And one thing that's very important to us is that Oregon Trail uses multi-chain consensus. So you can use any number of L1s to place this information on. It's important for a lot of reasons. One, we don't know who's going to win the L1 wars. We don't know if the L1 that's going to be most important doesn't even exist yet. And for Chat Analyst AI to be very successful, the amount of information that needs to be loaded onto the DKG is enormous. We're talking about millions and millions of knowledge assets just to begin with. I mean, the universe of financial information in the world. So we can't expect that's all going to happen on one chain or any number of chains. It needs to have flexibility to do that in the future. Similar with knowledge graphs, I mean, I think in the interest of time, we won't spend too much time here, but this is basically what powers the semantic searches that allow Chat Analyst AI to find the correct information when you put in a human-readable query. But rather than take my word for it, I think the easiest way is we can just show a quick demo here, if you can help set this up. So we are in the first stages of MVP we're building for this, so we've sort of throttled it a little bit for our demo here, but what we've done is load all of the investment information for Tesla for the last 2 years into a basic version of Chat Analyst AI here. And so it's a similar UI and UX if you use ChatGPT, but I've showed some interesting questions we can ask it. You can either take some suggested ones, add your own, or for example, I want to see something like something more complex that would be harder for me to find rather than just control Fing an SEC statement. So let's say for Tesla, I wanted to summarize the current risk factors of the company. And during this time, what it's doing is it's canvassing the knowledge assets that are indexed to Tesla. It'll find the information that it needs for that, and then it'll use an LLM to generate the response to this, which is currently OpenAI, but it's agnostic to that. You could just easily use another LLM if you wanted to swap that in, or maybe even have your choice of which to use here. I like that it actually takes a little bit, so you know this is really working and not just a pre-canned answer that we prepared for you. Oh, it timed out. Right. Yuri, another question I should ask, or?
I think you can try repeating the question. Sometimes since this is still a proof of concept, you can ask the same question.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, sometimes it takes because this is a very complex question.
Yeah, I could have just asked what the operating expenses are, but I wanted something a little fancier here. But we could show the,
well,
yeah, we can do some more civil ones if you prefer.
I think it's waiting for OpenAI to respond, and it has 60 seconds. So if they,
So yeah, it's waiting for OpenAI API to respond quickly, and because you know how ChatGPT responds like word by word, it takes some time. That's why they show it word by word, because otherwise the users would be seeing something like this. An improvement, definitely. There it is. Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
good. So, the current risk factors for Tesla: ongoing legal proceedings, an uncertain macro environment, rising interest rates. Obviously, pretty general, but that's included in pretty much every SEC statement today from pretty much any company. And the downward trajectory of average selling prices. Probably seen the price cuts recently for Tesla cars. Probably a similar answer you may get from ChatGPT, but with an important difference. There's zero sourcing if you put the same question and get a similar answer from ChatGPT. So while I may believe it, if I'm in the context as an investment professional presenting to my investment committee, I will get laughed out of the room if I say, oh, I got it from a bot, don't worry about it, I'm sure it's correct. They're going to expect me, my managing director as an investment analyst is going to expect me to have highly sourced content before they make million-dollar investment decisions. So in this case, what I do, I can easily see that the source content is their quarterly SEC report. I can go to the DKG Explorer and see both the underlying document, which is an SEC 10Q that Tesla filed, and I can also see on-chain that this was stamped on the Origin Trail parachain with this ERC 721 NFT. So not only do I have the source content to confirm, But I have the provenance of when this was put on there, and that is the same item. So if anything is to change in the future, or if there's an amendment or something else changes on there, I at least can know that I'm not working with the same material. Here, if we have a moment, we can compare also with Google what you would see here. So let's say I want to see the summary of Tesla's liabilities here in Q2 2023. Hopefully a little simpler one for OpenAI, but just as a comparison, we can start. We can see what Google will tell you if you ask that question. And you're going to get that Tesla's shares dip and maybe a few comments about it. You get unrelated 99.1 filing, Q3 results from Tesla Roddy, which apparently is a Tesla fanboy site, a YouTube video. That's not to say you can't find all the same information. It's just, as an analyst, it's far simpler for me to find it through this. And I'll get the exact information here summarized, but with the source contact index. So if I don't believe this or I need to source my information, I don't have to search for it. I have exactly where it came from, the quarterly SEC report that Tesla released on their investor relations page. So if we can switch back to the slides.
You can close that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in summary, this is, as a financial analyst, this is something that would have changed the way I worked immensely. You know, I wouldn't be at the office until 2 a.m. trying to source and report this information myself. As a company, sorry to say for the analysts, but you don't need to hire 1,000 analysts. You need to hire 20 that are well versed in how to use this, and you can spend that more money more wisely elsewhere. So where we want to start with is with blockchain wiring, putting the thousands of crypto press releases we on. Quickly, we're expanding. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to add the universe of all SEC information. And eventually, we want all global financial information to be added as knowledge assets. And to power this is the most powerful financial services search in the world. Financial analysis is obviously the number one way it'll be used, but as an investment advisor, you know, right now you might use a robo-advisor from a wealth manager, but it's pretty primitive in terms of what it can offer you. You give it kind of your age and your risk tolerance, and it tells you an asset allocation. This can fine-tune it against all the financial information available, and also be trained on what worked for other people in your situation and what their reaction was and whether that was the right allocation for them. It also replaces investment relations for every public company, because instead of having a team to source information and look up where it is, you can use chatanalyst.ai, and then if there's any question from a shareholder about what the source was, it's simple to just follow the DKG item and know exactly where that information came from. So in short, we think this is going to be an extremely powerful tool in the finance world. If you know any companies that may like to pilot this with us and with the Ordnance Trail team, then please let me know. Find me at the conference, or I think you have our email addresses on here, somewhere here. If you want to reach out to either myself or my partner Enzo, please do, and we'd love to start testing with you. Thank you.